At UFC 272, we have another great fight. We have Kevin Holland taking on Alex Oliveira at welterweight. Kevin Holland dropping down in weight. It's going to be a nice little test for Kevin Holland, seeing as he's come off a few losses recently. But before we get into it, guys, this video is sponsored by Full Reptile Collective, brought to you by Dan Hardy. Head over to their website at fullreptile.co.uk where you can find anything from training gear, t-shirts, hoodies, all the way to coffee. For an exclusive 10% off, use Dan Said So at checkout. Make sure to also check out their YouTube channel for some of the best MMA content out there, bar my own. Let's get back to the video. Alright guys, let's start with Kevin Holland. He had an unbelievable 2020 where he won 5 fights in a row, no problem, and it wasn't just like January to December, it was I think May to December. He had 5 fights in about 7 months. It was absolutely phenomenal. And the way he won all these fights as well, only one went to decision I believe, and that was against Darren Stewart, which was a split because Darren Stewart ended that fight on top, smashing him against the floor because I believe Kevin's knees were in trouble in that fight, but Darren Stewart is no joke. You know, I know he recently got cut from the UFC, which is sad, but there's a whole other reason behind that. There's a lot to do with Kevin's knees in that fight, which is why he couldn't be as elusive as he normally is, where he darts in and out. He likes to use that range. He's got an extremely long range. He's 6'3". He suited middleweight to me. This is now going down to welterweight. It's an interesting choice. I'm assuming it's because he feels he's undersized at the weight class based on like physicality rather than height and reach. He might feel he's lighter than the others. I know he's kind of been ragdolled in the last couple of fights against Marvin Vettori and Derek Brunson. There is no shame in losing to those two, because the caliber of fighter he went on the win streak with respect to those guys, are not the Derek Brunsons and the Marvin Vettoris, the top 5s of the division. That was, if he managed to beat, when he knocked out Jacare Souza, when he knocked out Jacare off his back, hit him, stunned him, kind of got back onto his knees and hit him with another right, and then he was out. That was insane. Now, it's not the Jacare of old, granted, it is an aging one, and you know, he's done now. Make of that what you will. But he really showed that, put him on his back, he can still do stuff. When it came to Blonde Brunson, there's not much you can do. He kind of trash talked him the whole way through the fight, as he does, you know. There wasn't much answer for the takedowns. He had no real intention of getting up almost. His back wasn't flat against the floor and his head wasn't laying down. He didn't give up. He just had no reaction. He didn't know what to do. So he's gone away, he's worked on his wrestling. I think there's a recent video of a troll calling him out saying he could tap him, and then the video came out that Kevin Holland flew him in, just absolutely destroyed him. But I mean, why trolls do this, I don't know. Good on Kevin for just teaching him a lesson. The Marvin Vettori fight was, again, Marvin just did exactly what Derek did. He was like, well, there's no way he's going to have learned to wrestle properly in that short space of time, and just exactly the same. Grab him, dump him, hold him. You know, beat him up on the floor a little bit. I wouldn't say, I don't think he took any damage in those fights, to be honest with you, and that's why he then went on to Dorcas. And that fight ended really, you know, unfairly to both guys. You know, it happens, clash of heads happened, it knocked him clean out, and he hit the floor, and as he hit the floor he woke up. It's like DC when he got hit by Rumble Johnson. He said he was out as he fell down. As soon as he hit the floor, he woke up and bounced straight back up, and that's what you call a flash knockdown, or a flash knockout in this case. So he's now fighting Alex Oliveira, who is on a 3-fight skid. He's very up and down as an MMA fighter, especially in the UFC. You see a lot of guys get cut for a lot less than what he's done in his career. He's been fighting some monsters mixed in with some veterans, mixed in with some easier opponents, I would say. You know, he's just lost to Nico Price, which Nico Price is a very, very good martial artist, a very unorthodox. His rhythm is very odd. It's very static to a point where he just sits there and then all of a sudden will explode, and then all of a sudden will turn and will fight a southpaw stance, but he can't really fight southpaw. He'll fight off his back, knocks people out from his back with hammer fists. The guy's super unorthodox. Showed in the Cowboy fight, it was a really good fight, but you know, very unorthodox fighter. Very tricky one for Alex to figure out, and he couldn't figure it out. Lost that fight. Randy Brown, you know, Randy Brown's just, again, Randy Brown he's on that cusp of the ranked fighters where Alex is, and Alex can't ever break into that ranked bracket to face those top guys, and there's a reason for it, because people like Randy Brown can just dominate him from start to finish. So there's not much hope, I'm going to say, in this fight for Alex, but there is a few things that could kind of work in his favour if he manages to implement his own game plan. If you're losing to people like Gunnar Nelson, Mike Perry, and Nicholas Dalby, there's no way you're breaking into the top 15s. These guys are very good mixed martial artists. Please don't think that I don't like them, or I don't think they're unskillful, nothing like that at all. But when you're talking about how Kevin was in the top 10, he was beating guys ranked the whole way through. Like Jacare is a good example. Joaquin Buckley, we've seen what he can do. Obviously not the elite of the elite. Kevin Holland, I think, would be cusp top 10 to 15 in the middleweights is where he should be sitting. That's the competitive edge for him. He's like the same style as a Uriah Hall, that kind of level to me. That's my opinion. Cutting that weight to welterweight, I don't know how well it's going to take to his body. I'm assuming all goes well with my analysis here. If all goes well, I can see him just absolutely keeping Alex Oliveira on the end of his punches. He likes to hit long. When he closes that gap, Kevin's got incredible knees. Incredible knees. Hits you in the chest, low kicks to the calf. There's not many ways Alex can win this fight, but one of the ways is the grappling. You have to grapple to beat Kevin at this point, especially, not at this point necessarily, but especially if you're Alex's striking level. Alex Oliveira hasn't got elite striking. I'm not saying Kevin does, but I think you have to have elite striking to just toy with him on the feet. Alex Oliveira does have a very good top game. I think he's incredibly weak on the bottom, but that's another story, because Kevin Holland, I completely disregard that he's even going to attempt to wrestle Oliveira to the ground, unless he just fancies it. But I think he's going to want to make a statement. I don't think he's going to play around as much as he normally does in these fights. I think coming down to welterweight, he's going to quickly make a stamp on this division. I think he's going to avoid every single takedown possible. I think Alex Oliveira's only chance is to make this really gritty, really dirty fight, up close, really uncomfortable, slow Kevin down, make him not angry, but frustrate him that he can't connect with the long punches, can't set up that jab. He likes a left body kick. It's a good kick he has. If you can kind of disrupt that rhythm of when he gets in his flow state of bouncing in and out, jab, jab, and he hits you with the 1-2. That 1-2 is money for Kevin Holland. He loves simple striking, mixed in with a couple explosive diverse movements. It's a really good matchup for Kevin Holland, I would say. I think they've done him a nice favour here, giving him someone like Alex Oliveira, who's got a lot of experience, but hasn't necessarily got the skill set to improve into that top bracket. For me, Kevin Holland's going to take this quite easily. I think he's going to finish him within 2 rounds. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think. So what do you reckon is going to happen, guys? Alex Oliveira, for me, has a very slim chance. He has a couple game plans I think you could implement. If I was in his corner, I would say we're going to have to get him against that cage, work that single leg, grind him down, slow him down, just avoid those big shots and push him into the later rounds. I say later rounds, the 3rd round essentially, and then try and out grapple him there, see what we can get. The range is going to be a big factor in this one, guys. Kevin Holland for me all day, round 1 or 2. Let me know what you think. If you did enjoy the video, guys, remember to like it, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Love it all around. Lots of subscribers recently. Been really nice of you. Thank you all. Share it, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.